everyone. Welcome to Vibrant Living. This is a 4-part podcast series. We're just talking about living vibrantly, and it's really a guide for busy women because we're all super busy. And today is going to be an introduction of our topics and an introduction to the three of us, Melissa, Mariana, and I, as we kick off the series, and we'll get into the rest of it after school holidays. But so welcome. My name is Regina, and I am a Living Lighter facilitator, and I'll talk a bit more about that later at reginapaula.com. We also have Mariana Jovanovic. She is, you're giving me the nod, I must have said it right. She's our naturopath, our medical herbalist, and nutritionist from Change Naturopathy. How are you doing, Mariana?
I'm great. I'm glad to be here and giving some great tips, hopefully, for everybody who listens and who will listen later. Yeah.
So good to have you here. And we also have Melissa Lowe from the Thrive Guide, and she is also a nutritionist and health coach. How are you doing?
I'm good. Yeah, nutrition and health coach. Well, epigenetics health coach. Yeah, I'm great. And thanks to those that came along and those that are going to watch later. It'd be great to sort of share all our tips for you busy women out there.
And so we're really lucky. I was just saying a little earlier that we're all really, really lucky here in New Zealand to be in the state that we are, to be able to come together and collaborate and go outside of our houses. But no matter where you are, whether you're still in lockdown or whether you're here in New Zealand, we just wanted to share our tips with what we did. I mean, because a lot of us really enjoyed our lockdown, and we were able to really take the time to just slow down and cook, do the things that we wouldn't normally do when we're out and about and busy. And so that's just part of the reason why we're here. And so I just wanted to ask each of you, Melissa and Mariana, what did you guys find? What are some new things that you picked up during the lockdown that you'd like to bring into your new normal now, or that you have already?
Yeah, definitely. I found that we had a more quality time, family quality time, so immediate family quality time, spending more time with my son, playing the games, board games. My husband was doing lots of Lego, building lots of Lego with him. Lots of time for extra exercise, and again, family walkings, family bikings around, not lots of cars on the street. And why we were able to do that, obviously, because there wasn't a stress around, we have to be at this place at this time, at that place at this time. There's a rush hour in Auckland, in any other bigger city, to get from A to B. So all of that was cancelled, and we were able to add some more quality time, and I really value that. Of course, that was additional, more healthier cooking, baking together with children. And many of my friends and girlfriends were saying the same thing, but I guess it wasn't the same for everybody. There are families who didn't enjoy that much, with several little kids in the house and not able to entertain them all the time, and trying to work from home, etc., etc. So everybody had some good points and some bad points, but as I said, I really enjoyed it. Just that extra time for walks in the nature, biking in the nature, have a relaxing time for cooking, and relaxing time to spend together with the family and doing something quality time, not only be stressed to finish the task from one to one, another one.
Cool. And we'll get back to you in a bit, because I know that you've got some really cool tips from all of that, and it would be good to hear what you're doing now as well, bringing what you've gone through before to now. And Melissa, what about you?
Yeah, I guess for me, it was just getting out of that rush. It's not sometimes until you stop and you're not doing it. And even though we were forced to stop doing it, it was just like, wow, you don't realize how much of your day is this rushing, you know, rushing out the door, rushing into school, rushing to work, you know, rushing home, dinner, rush, rush, rush. And it was just really nice to be able to let that go. And sort of like Mariana was saying, just kind of having time to hang out, you know, just to chill and to get some things done as well around the house, which was good. Although my husband was quite sick of the long list that I had for him, which I kept adding to. But yeah, just to have that relaxation time and not having to get out the door, places to go and people to see was, yeah, something that I definitely cherished. Yeah.
It was almost like, because with everybody at home and everything shut off, all the businesses shut off, you could almost feel that sense of calmness around you. Like you don't hear the traffic, you don't hear people going in and out in early in the morning with the trucks going by. So it was just a really nice welcome stop to the day. And
yeah,
I'd have to say, incidentally, with me, it started off as an easy transition, but I did the opposite, because I really leveraged the fact that everybody was online. So I really, really wanted to get to everybody and talk to them and network with them because of our groups. And that towards the end, especially with the 3-year-old daughter, I had a ton of anxiety. And I actually had to reset a couple of weeks after we got down to our level 1. So, but one of the things that I did do during the lockdown was, when everybody was binge drinking and binge eating, is I actually put myself on a nutrition program and exercise. So the good thing is I did, lose a little bit of my fat and got onto a healthy regimen. And so like I felt good. And that's just one thing that I would love to, kind of share with others here today. And it's so lovely to have you ladies, and you might be some men watching too, to have you on here. And we'd love to, if you have any questions or anything, any comments, feel free to just put them in the chat and let us know what's on your mind with what you're hearing from us today. But I wanted to get a bit deeper in your tips, all of our tips, because it's one thing to be forced to just stop and exercise and cook and do everything during lockdown, but it's another thing to bring it into your daily life. And it's like, well, how do we create our routines and rituals with what we've done? Because it's so easy just to think that we have to go back to whatever normal was and keep on doing and doing and doing. But maybe there's something that we can do to preserve ourselves and do something a bit different this time around. So why don't we just start with you again, Mariana, and what are some deeper tips that you have for your new normal?
Yeah, most of the things that I always hear from my clients and my friends, girlfriends, I don't have time, I'm busy, I have to do this for my family, I have to do this for my children, I have to take my child here, I have to do this for my parents, and if I have time, I'll do something for myself. So that's the common theme, really. And that's common excuses for not having the time for yourself and not having the time for self-care. So when people tell me that they don't have a time, I hear that they don't have energy. Our perception of time will determine our experience of that time. So it is also important to recognize that today people really and acknowledge that people really experience high levels of stress, whatever is going on in our lives and in the world. But there is also a huge amount of stress that we create for ourselves, just because how we think, and that's part what we can change about stress. So we can't really affect what's happening all around us, but how we think, how we perceive that, we can change that. We think that our stress is connected with everything what is happening, our tasks, our interactions, because of this person or that person, but truth is it's a response to those things and our perception, as I said, that make us feel stressed about that event or about that person. So living in stress makes our time quite tight, short, affects our immunity and our moods. So how we can change that? It's just by stopping the time, and that happens when we learn to slow down, when we learn to access our calm, find our calm place. When we access that place, we can feel centered, we can feel energized and ready to face whatever is coming in our day, in every day. And these places are accessible when our parasympathetic nervous system is in mode. And we want to be most of the time in our parasympathetic mode, because that's our nervous system which controls our vital task in our body, like breathing, digestion, cell repair, heart rate, sleep, stuff like that. However, if we want to be in today's world, because of so many things what we put on our list during the day, many of us are running from one to another task, from another to meeting to another, to second meeting, to place A to place B to place C. So we are always rushing and always feeling the stress. And stress, it's okay to have, stress is okay to feel, and because it's very good in really dangerous situation when we are in our parasympathetic nervous system. But when we are constantly in stress, that becoming a chronic stress, and when we become chronically stressed, that's really bad news, because we have elevated stress hormones, and then that's going and leading towards the chronic condition. What is another big topic for next time, maybe. So how we can try to be more and in our parasympathetic nervous system mode, in our rest and digest time, by slowing, as I mentioned, by slowing the time and trying to access that calm in ourselves. There's many techniques, many methods, but we can do that, and many of us already do that. Many of us know about it, and many of us don't, or many of us don't have time to start practicing those techniques, like diaphragmatic breathing, when we're trying to breathe deeply into our diaphragm instead of into our chest, meditation, practicing yoga, Tai Chi, journaling, and reflecting what's happened in our day, and reflecting onto positive and negative feelings, what we had in our day, mindfulness, practicing gratitude first thing in the morning, and finding always at least one good thing in our day. So how to access that place of calm and how to be calm depends, and what technique to choose depends of you, of us. So everybody is different. If for your girlfriend meditation works, that's great, but for you maybe meditation doesn't work, and you're not finding your best calming place doing meditation. Maybe just having a nice 5 to 10 minutes sit down with your warm herbal tea, it's the place for you to calm and reflect. That's great. So we have to find what works for us, because we are all very different, each of us are individual. So what is important also to talk to yourself, to communicate to yourself, and finding the right thing to do, but also scheduling those times for yourself. So scheduling self-care time for yourself. That's the problem, what I mentioned at the beginning. We always put everybody else on the first place, and then we don't have time at the end of the day for us. So how are we going to do that? Maybe you can put your alarm in your phone for your 5 to 10 minutes of your break, for diaphragmatic breathing, or for your gratitude practice, or having a hot cup of herbal tea. Or you're going to put that schedule in your to-do list, like any other task what you do during your day. So it's important to, at the beginning, when you choose your practice, what will make you calm and then calm you down, to also start scheduling. Once you repeating and doing your practice every day and finding that self-care schedule in your day for every day, until it become just a habit, like you brushing your teeth, you're having a shower, you will have to keep scheduling those tasks for you. And why is important to do that self-care and practice self-care? Because it's not only enough to have to think okay, I'm gonna go and change my diet. I'm doing very well there. I'm gonna schedule my exercise. I'm gonna schedule time with my family. But if we are not finding that time to reconnect with ourselves, our spiritual time, to find the calm, to talk to ourselves and see what is that is bothering us, what is that making us snap at the end of the day at our children and our partner and our husband. We're not gonna find that balance, well-being and our balanced health if we are not taking all of this, meaning exercise, nutrition, social life, family life, and self-care. So it's important, as I said, but it's mostly important to talk to yourself and find the time and a way how you can schedule in your busy life and busy day. Why is that? Because if we all have to realize, especially women, that if we don't put ourselves on a first place, we're never gonna have enough time and to help and be available for our children, for our husband, for our partner, for our clients, for our jobs and business. If we can do that for maybe a short time and reach the burnout, but many of us experience that already, but wanting to be happy, healthy, and available and for our family and our businesses, our clients, our jobs, we have to put also ourselves on the first place and put self-care as a really important task on our list. So what we can do for self-care, I mentioned all those techniques, but there are several other things like sleep. If we are not really having a proper good sleep, quality of sleep per night, our body, it's not gonna recharge, it's not gonna repair. That's the time when our cells and our body, our organs are repairing. If you don't have a good sleep, there's no point working on your nutrition, your exercise, on your relations, etc. So we have to sort out first sleep. Then if we have to define what is important in our life and focus on that. We have to also eliminate the points in our life that draining our energy, that we recognize that draining our energy, and see why is that happening, why those points in our life, why those tasks are draining our energy. We have to also communicate with our closest ones, with the family, how we feel. Nobody would guess how you feel if you don't communicate that with them. So communicate with your family, with your children, with your husband, how you feel, what you would like to do for yourself, and then that you will implement that much easier. Considering what events and stressful events in your life you can remove from your life, or why those stressful events are stressful for yourself. Is that your perception? Is that there's something what you don't like doing? Don't avoid asking for help, what is very important, and make boundaries anywhere, at work, at home, anywhere where it is possible. So look after yourself. Addressing especially perception of pressure and urgency, because our thoughts in our head, our thoughts are very powerful and have very big impact on our nervous system and how we feel about it. So that that has to be addressed. And during those self-care moments, when you're doing the meditation or exercise of diaphragmatic breathing or anything like that, when you reflect, you should address things like that. And you should see what is those points that is triggering you and what you can do about that. And can you change your perception on those points? Once you recognize all of those things and implement and schedule your self-care moments, then it's time to say that, to stop with excuses and saying, oh, no, I don't have time. It's time to action, to schedule and start scheduling, actually practicing self-care every day for yourself. Why is that? Because you want to show up in the world, at your work and your job, in your family, in front of your child, in front of your husband, in front of your partner, as a happy, bright, ready to help person, rather than somebody who is really angry and unassured, short of temper, stressed. So that would be, in short, some of the tips what we should do. So main one is actually, yes, we can plan. There is many techniques out there. We probably all already know about them, but that point when we're supposed to start actioning those things is the very important, and that means start now. Don't leave it for, okay, I'll start on Monday, I'll start tomorrow, but start now. Put in your phone, schedule it, put alarm, put in your list and schedule. And start small, start with 5 minutes or 10 minutes of practicing diaphragmatic breathing or practicing gratitude, whenever is easy for you. Find a time when it's the best for you. So for some people, it's the best when they're going to pick up kids and driving in the car. They can do diaphragmatic breathing. They can go into themselves and think. And as for some people, that's the best when they wake up in the morning. Get up early in the morning, half an hour, if you want to do that before your family gets up. So to find the best time for yourself, find the best practice that suits you, and schedule it and start doing it. And just let me know how that goes. After, let's say, maybe 2 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks, you would definitely feel and find lots of changes in yourself.
It's amazing how much you can get out of making conscious effort for a particular amount of time, like the return that you'll actually get to make yourself feel better. So thank you so much for your tips. I'm really looking forward to you're going to be having your own episode at the end of August, and looking forward to getting even deeper into specific strategies. So thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
And Melissa, what about you? What are some of the tips that you have?
Yeah, sure. I just want to about what Mariana just said as well, like just also tapping into that and letting go of the guilt. Like so many women, I think they just like feel guilty for spending any time on themselves, you know, or they've just got this really long to-do list and they're like, oh, I can't just to take 5-10 minutes and not do anything on my to-do list. They can't properly relax. And so, yeah, it's giving yourself permission, isn't it? And being able to let go of the guilt and that realization that I fill up my tank a little bit, I'm going to be able to face the rest of my life and every in my life with so much more integrity. So, yeah.
Totally. And here's the challenge is feel uncomfortable for the first 10 times, but just keep on doing it. And then what'll happen beyond that? Do it 15 times. When are you going to stop feeling, or you're going to start feeling more comfortable? Yeah.
It's getting that brain sort of shift that it's okay to do this, you know, and feeling good about it and letting go of the negative thoughts about it. Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, so yes, on to what I'm going to talk about is, incorporating some of those healthy eating habits into your day. We'll kind of ignore the baking that many of you did over lockdown. I know there's a lot of that going on. I didn't do any, which was amazing. But like we all know we're meant to eat healthy, right? Like everyone gets it. You're meant to eat healthy. And, you know, there's so many benefits to it. You know, it's going to improve your immunity. You're going to reduce digestive issues or gut health problems. You're going to balance hormones. You know, you may lose some weight. It's going to improve your sleep and just so many important factors. But I think what goes on for a lot of people, and I don't know if you ladies can relate to this, is it's the time. And that eating healthy can sometimes be a little bit of a pain in the butt when you first get started. And I remember this because we didn't used to eat healthy. It was pasta and white bread, and the kids had chips in their lunchbox every day. And so because of some health issues that were going on, we had to just do this whole transition. And I transitioned my builder husband, who used to have, you know, a pie every morning for breakfast, and my kids and everything. And so I remember at first just thinking, oh my God, I feel like I'm a 1950s housewife just stuck in the kitchen. I can't just chuck a round wine biscuit at my children now. I've got to put this time and effort into the food. So I know at first how it can feel quite overwhelming, and many people, just like what you were talking about, Mariana, they're just like, I just don't have time. You know, it's so much easier to grab a packet of this or, you know, a jar of that, and that's dinner sorted. But so what I want to just sort of share today is just how to get over kind of that time issue, and just, I guess, some healthy food hacks that you can easily do. And because what we've got to remember is we know that being healthy is great and is going to bring all these benefits, but being sick isn't. Being sick takes time. Being sick upsets our life and our family's life and everything. And that can rob us of enjoyment. So it's almost just having this change of mindset of like, you know what, I'm worth looking after, I'm worth putting in this time and effort to look after myself and my family, and I really want to have those benefits. So when it comes to starting some healthy eating, you might already be doing some of it, there's a couple of things that really help, and one of them is planning. And what I find is many women go to the supermarket, they think about dinner, they think about their kids' lunch boxes and their breakfast, and they completely forget about themselves. They forget to go, what will I have for lunch this week? Or what are going to be my snacks? Or what's going to be my breakfast? And they sort of get home and there's none of them in the supermarket shopping. So I'd really be thinking, before you go to the supermarket, is thinking about what you are going to eat. And what are the benefits you're going to get from this? It has to be, you know, the basis of your mindset. And so figuring out what's right for you to eat, you know, when it comes to your meals of the day. But also it's thinking along the lines of bulk cooking. And this is the number one lifesaver. Like when I was having that, you know, I'm stuck in the kitchen 1950s moment, I remember texting a friend of mine was really healthy, and I was like, oh my God, how do you do this? And she's like, bulk cooking, just do that. And so it's really along the idea of cook once, eat twice sort of thing. So I'm just going to go into some meals throughout the day and just give you some ideas where you can sort of start bulk cooking. So you've got things prepared, ready to go, because this was an absolute lifesaver for me. So also on the basis of that, just when it comes to healthy eating, and we all know this, it's vegetables, like, and I'm talking above ground vegetables. So yeah, carbohydrates, your root vegetables are great, but talking more about, you know, your healthy green, colourful vegetables. And if you can aim when you're eating foods to be looking at it and thinking, what's something in here that's been recently alive? So it's real whole food, not processed foods, then you are going to be winning so much more. So when it comes to breakfast, now there's a bit of a concept out there of like, you almost eat breakfast, it's the most important meal of the day. And I don't necessarily agree with that. It absolutely depends on you and your body type. And some people wake up in the morning and they just are not hungry. They just don't want to eat maybe till about 9 or 10 o'clock. And if you're one of those people, that's totally okay. But what I want to say is that if you are doing that, just to make sure your fluids are kept up in the morning. So whether, I'm not talking about coffee, but more like water or a green smoothie, or maybe it's a homemade vegetable juice. If you're buying a juice, I'd just be making really sure it's not full of a lot of fruit, or you're just going to have a big fructose hit. And then if you are going to be having breakfast a little bit later on, just make sure you've got something healthy on hand that you can have. But if you are having brekkie, and you can also use this for when you wake up or a bit later in the morning, so some bulk sort of breakfast ideas, like good old chia pudding is absolutely wonderful, full of protein, huge amount of health benefits, helps keep you regular. And you can actually make, you know, like 2 to 3 containers or jars of this and keep it in the fridge. And then, you know, that's your breakfast sorted for, you know, 2 to 3 days. And you can top it with like nuts and seeds or thawed fruit, anything like that. Another kind is good old, when you're, I guess it's a bircher muesli, when you're just soaking your oats. So you just get plain oats. You can soak them either in water or a milk that's suitable for you. And, you know, you could do sort of about, you know, 2 to 3 jars of this again, or in a cup or container, a glass, I suppose. You know, stir in some cinnamon, let it soak overnight. In the morning again, top it with some, say, berries that have been thawed. Again, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, coconut, cacao nibs, that kind of thing. And another one is the good old healthy fry up. So you could chop veggies for sort of 2 to 3 breakfasts. So whether it's like spinach, courgettes, mushrooms, capsicums, anything like that, get them all chopped up in the fridge. And so in the morning, all you have to do is just throw them in a pan, you know, cook them up. You can add in some eggs or salmon or whatever, and it's just done really, really quickly. So they're all just things that are just really easy that you can just get prepared and have them in the fridge waiting for you. So next, sort of like getting into lunches, and this is what we do most Sundays, is we roast up a big batch of vegetables. So it will be like kumara, carrot, parsnip, just sort of what's in season. You can do beetroot, courgettes, mushrooms, anything like that. Just chop them up, roast them up, and then that just gets put in the fridge. You can even freeze them into meal-sized portions if you want, and then heat them up again. Then we'll do something like either roast a couple of chickens and break them up, or sometimes I'll get something like a pot roast kind of thing, or gravy beef, and put it in the crock pot. Then that goes in the fridge, and then that's the basis of our lunches. So, you know, you get your roast veggies, some chicken, some spinach, some feta, red onion, balsamic vinegar, olive oil, just delicious. So that gets us sorted for the week. Another one is, you know, you've got a crock pot, your slow cooker. So doing stews and soups, which are really fabulous for this time of year. And again, leftover dinners, you know, when you're buying dinner, start thinking, okay, if I make a bit more of this and that, I can use that in my lunches. Just make sure you hide it in the fridge so a child doesn't go in and eat it. I mean, that happened, it's so annoying. Again, with dinner, I would be going cooking double, eating twice. I'm meaning like you cook once, eat twice. So things like, you know, if you're cooking up mince, I'd be doing, you know, getting a big packet of it, cooking the whole lot up. You use one for maybe like in a cottage pie, and the other one, you can either freeze the cooked mince or use it, you know, in a couple of days, you know, into a chili. Add some kidney beans, brown rice, that kind of thing. Same with chicken, like if you're doing a roast meal, like roast a couple of chickens. So one you eat for the roast dinner, the other one you can use in wraps or add to lunches or whatever. Again, stews and casseroles and soups are fabulous. And also when you are chopping up an onion, chop up 2 and then stick it in the fridge or stick it in the freezer, you know. And with a lot of veggies, you know, garlic, grated carrot, a lot of those things, you can just double prepare and put them in the fridge and freezer. So you just have these things that are ready to go. And just a bit on snacks. Again, another thing is just, you know, chopping up a whole bunch of veggie sticks so they're all ready to grab. And you can either make some hummus. If you're going to buy hummus, make sure you read your ingredients list. Turkish Kitchen's probably a good brand to buy. A lot of the others in the supermarket aren't, sorry to say. Or, you know, you can make a pesto. A trail mix, you know, you can make up a big bag of nuts and seeds, the cacao nibs. I'd just be keeping the dried fruit on the low side, or you're going to get a big sugar spike. Another one is good old green smoothies. You know, you can make a big blender full and have some in the morning and some in the afternoon. or you can make up little containers of smoothie ingredients and put them in the freezer, and then just get them out to thaw a little bit and then make up a smoothie. So that's great. With smoothies, you want to be kind of going, this is the same with veggie juices, like 3/4 veggie and 1/4 veg. A quarter fruit, because you want the veggie high, not the fruit high, or you're just having a whole lot of sugar. And again, yogurt can be great, or coconut yogurt if you're dairy free. You know, making it little containers of that. You can have fruit in them, nuts and seeds, cacao nibs, all sorts of yummy things. And then just to touch briefly on good old coffee. I know people who do this, you know, they get up in the morning, they have a coffee, race out the door, get to work, have another coffee, then lunchtime they're hungry, they just grab a muffin, then another coffee in the afternoon, then they get home and they're starving, and they're raiding the fridge, and they're never raiding the fridge for a salad. They're just trying to get any food in that's going to fill them up. And you know what you mentioned, Mariana, being in that fight or flight zone, and this is exactly what coffee does. If you're having quite a lot of them during the day, your cortisol levels are going to go up, your stress hormone, which leads to inflammation, imbalanced hormones, all sorts of things. So really be trying to think about scaling some of that coffee down, you know, even down to 1 a day if you can, or even eliminating if possible. And I wouldn't really be having a coffee after 12. It's in our system 8 hours plus, and it can be affecting your sleep, or you can get in that tired but wired, you know, where you're exhausted but you've had too many coffees and you can't switch off, which is what we want to avoid. So you're looking for some just healthy alternatives, like, you know, there's green tea, chai lattes, and good old water is another good one too. So yeah, I guess just trying to put in that effort where you are thinking ahead about yourself. Again, you know, it's just tapping into, what do I need to look after myself to nourish my body and mind, and just having it planned out for the week, what you're going to eat, or when you're going shopping, thinking about how you're going to look after yourself. And that's me.
That's awesome. And definitely water. Wow. Oh my gosh. I think that's one of the things that really helped me a lot. I think I was drinking up to 4 liters a day.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, some people are great on a lot of water and some people a bit less. It does depend on their body type. But yeah, just definitely making sure you're getting it. And quite often when you're hungry, sometimes not that I'm saying people should be hungry, but sometimes it's that you just need a glass of water. Yeah.
Yeah, I think our body stopped being able to tell whether we were actually thirsty or hungry. And I guess most of the time, by the time we feel thirsty, we're already dehydrated.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Be careful, you can even overdo on water. So don't go over 4 liters.
Yeah. And definitely I wouldn't be having, like, you don't want to be having a lot of water before you're eating, or you're just going to not be able to get the nutrients into your cells. So if you do need to have water while having a meal, it's just small sips. But normally, 20 minutes, I wouldn't be having a big glass of water. Also after you've eaten as well. Yeah, you just really want to be able to get your digestive system to absorb the nutrients from the food well. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much for sharing. Looking forward to hearing you on your episode as well, which is going to be on the 11th of August as we get a bit deeper. Can't wait. I do have a question from Jessica here, and we'll maybe, let's see, it's about 12:40 right now. I'll ask that, and then this is just a question for the panel. She's asking, could you discuss ways to stick to healthy buying and eating when motivations fluctuate over the course of the month? I find that I am great at scheduling, but fall off plans once cravings start around that time of the month.
Yes, that can definitely be one. And your body is needing more food when that time of the month's coming. I mean, it's doing an amazing thing. It's creating an egg and, you know, getting all ready for fertilization, whether you want that to happen or not. So your hunger will go up. What I would be doing though is just making sure you're eating foods to support your body through the amazing thing that it's going through. I'll look at the camera actually. So kind of getting things, you know, if you're wanting sweet foods, you know, like roasting up those carrots and pumpkins and those kind of things, or cooking up leeks and that kind of thing, so the sweetness sort of starts coming out. You know, dark chocolate can be okay, but going for sort of 70% plus. Yeah, so trying to look at foods that are still good for you, but are going to fill you up. So I wouldn't be thinking, I shouldn't be eating. Definitely eat, but go for foods that are going to look after your body.
Yeah, and make sure that include the protein in every meal and good fats, what will keep you satiated for longer. And yeah, we all know that before our periods, we feel much more hunger than during the other days in the month. So for some women, it's 2 days before, for some women, it's the day before, etc. So yeah, as Melissa said, just don't avoid eating. Keep eating, but try to stick to the healthy food, to the vegetables and good fats, avocado, coconut oil, anything like that with a good protein. It will fill all those desires for the sugary food and salty food. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you both for sharing. Jessica says, thanks.
And of course, I think I'm finding for myself that if you don't have that at home, you won't reach for that, whatever it is, like that munch or that sweet chocolate or that lolly. If you don't buy it, don't put in your basket while you're doing shopping, you won't have that home, so you won't eat it. So that's the best way to avoid it.
And just so you know, those of you who are live here, we definitely respect your time. So feel free to continue watching with us. We're nearly getting there, or you can watch the replay, but we love having you here. So it's great to have you here. And I guess it's my turn. I think kind of like the 4 pillars that I've really thought about that kind of bring wholeness is moving, resting and restoring, or stopping, nourishing, not just your body, but also your soul and connection. And I think the 2 of the main things that I'm going to talk about today are move and connect. There were some tools that because I really truly believe that we all have the knowledge inside of us, and we're never really taught how to access that information. And I guess I was going to talk a bit about that today, but I'm going to save that for the next one, because they're pretty powerful tools. Because just like Mariana and Melissa were talking about, we all have different bodies and we're all very different. And so if for some reason there are specific pieces of information we can't find ourselves through internet or friends or professionals, it's like, well, what can we do to tap into ourselves to be able to access that information? So I'll talk about that next time. But today I just wanted to talk about movement and connection. Movement for me, I'm a huge fan of moving my body. Even now I'm just standing because I like working standing. And sometimes it's really hard to get into the habit of moving your body and exercising, or you'll do it for a good 2 weeks. Maybe you have a New Year's resolution, and after the 2 weeks, you're just like back in front of the TV or online, just doing what you normally do. One of the things that I did that I mentioned earlier is that while everybody else was binge eating and binge drinking, I started doing a 6-week nutrition plan and paired that with an exercise plan as well, which was really a really great start for me to kind of get to where I am now, which is like, how long ago did I start? That was 2.5 months ago. But I think what really kept me on the ball was the fact that I had, Melissa kind of talked a bit about this, is a plan. I had a plan in place. I knew that I had a goal. My target was 6 weeks. So I had the 6 weeks. I had a plan in place, and I also had the mentorship or someone or something to guide me through those days where I'm like, oh my gosh, I do not want to do anything right now. And even beyond the 6 weeks, I have to say that I kind of ditched the nutrition plan and kept kept my diet relatively good. But the one thing that I've been keeping in place is my exercise, because it's something that I love doing. And so one of the things that I've done over the past few years to keep me in line if I don't know what to do, is using a 30-day fitness app. And the one fitness app, and you can just find it anywhere. I think there's quite a few there, but the one that I use in particular has different levels and different and a couple of different types of workouts for each level, whether it's my full body or for different parts of my body. But the reason why I've stuck to it, that, and then even the 6-week plan, was just because I know that there's a finite amount of days. It was something that I could look forward to, because I know that at the end of the 30 days, I would feel great. And it's just this habit that these two beautiful ladies are talking about, is you just do something consistently, even if you're pushing through the pain. And then by the end of 2, 3, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, you're like, wow, I can actually do 20 push-ups. And I couldn't do that at the very beginning. So you'll really, really surprise yourself for where you are. Now, granted, after a couple times of these challenges, I got pretty bored of the workouts, especially when I was getting to the higher levels. And so I've kind of changed it up, but I also love doing yoga, and then I started going swimming at the local pool. And then my husband and I also signed up at the gym. So it's like I've got different things to keep up with my ADD during the week. But it's really just moving your body. And if you don't like going to the gym and you don't like doing those things, just, well, what did you do during the lockdown? Did you get up and walk around the block with your husband, your partner, your friends, your children? What can you do when you're going somewhere? Can you just park a little further away so that you can walk a couple blocks to where you need to get to? So it doesn't have to be anything intense, but just being mindful of the extra steps and the extra things that you can take to move your body. Can you turn your desk into a stand-up desk so that you could do work standing up? Yeah. And what else? Yeah. You know, what I really actually found interesting too is the 4 pillars that I was talking about, the resting, restoring, moving, nourishing, and connecting. What I found really interesting with the lockdown is at the end, I had extreme anxiety because I ended up actually doing too much. And I was talking to one of my friends and I said, it's so weird. Like, I was meditating again, moving my body. I was eating a lot better, but I still felt really, really anxious. And it was just a really, real low. And what she was telling me was, take a week and journal every day, and don't what do you call it? Don't censor yourself. Just keep on writing. 10 minutes, write straight, even if it's just squiggles or lines or words that don't even make any sense. Just keep on writing. And what I found that I was able to kind of release a lot of that. And that goes into the whole connection thing, is because I wasn't able to connect with a lot of people. And even with a young daughter and my family being overseas, I still don't connect with as many people in person. So it gave me a chance to reconnect with myself and reconnect with what was actually in my head. And there's even a point where I didn't know what to write. So I was like, okay, I know I have to keep on moving my hand. And I literally had 3 or 4 pages of scribbles, like literal, like scribbles. And I was like, I'm just going to keep on doing this because I don't know what's going to happen beyond this. And then after 5 minutes, I just stopped and I felt like I was done. So it was almost like my body was telling me, I just need a release. I need to connect with myself, but I also need a release. So one of the things now that I do, obviously, I'm actually using the tips that these other ladies are giving, or, you know, scheduling time out for myself each day. And then during the week as well. But also I use questions as a tool to help, not necessarily to answer the question logically, but to keep asking myself so that during the day, I can see what answers come up. And these answers might be in a way that I don't expect it. And those, so for example, one of the questions that I ask myself is, if I decide that I want to do something, but I know I have other things to do, the question that I ask myself is, what will this create for me? Will this create greater? And oftentimes I kind of feel like I sense if it's actually lighter or heavier for me, because I know that if I feel lighter, then it's true. And if it's heavier, then it's not true for me. And it took a while for me to really hone into what that actually is. And I'll get more into that next week. But yeah, the use of questions. When I have done all of these things, fed my body, it's like, okay, what else is possible? What else can I do? Mm-hmm. So yeah, so that's me. And we've got about a few more minutes left, but I would love to hear where we can get a hold of the two of you, and me as well, go after you guys. And so
yeah, those are amazing tips which you gave us, Regina. I definitely think it's so important also to not overdo it, even with everything, exercise, diet, and putting too much pressure in ourselves. Do it one thing at a time, yes, and be mindful and make a break, give yourself a break. I'm working on that myself. So giving yourself a week break, you come up with so many amazing things, and you were able to listen to yourself and your body inside. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook as a Change Naturopathy. Same on the Instagram, change_naturopathy. At the moment, my website is it's undertaking some changes, and hopefully will be ready next week. It's again www.changenaturopathy.co.nz. But yeah, for now, I can direct you to my Facebook page, Change Naturopathy.
Cool. And Melissa?
Yeah, so for me on Facebook and Instagram, I'm the Thrive Guide with Melissa Lowe. And then website is thethriveguide.co.nz. And yeah, there's articles and all sorts on there and some freebies. And a lot of things, I sort of mainly help women who are busy, wanting to take care of themselves, maybe lose some weight, gain some energy, and also balancing their hormones is a side I'm heavily involved in as well. So there's some information on there as well on how to get things back into balance. Yeah.
And we'll definitely get to know more about you guys over the next couple of months, and I'll give the dates out in a bit. But before that, you can find me at reginapaula.com. My Facebook is reginapaula.com/FB. My Instagram is reginapaula.com/IG. I was like, I think I should try to make it easier. Anyways, so that's where you can reach us. We have three more episodes on this series, and we're really going to get deep into it. We might have some surprises for you, but you won't know until you show up. So the dates are going to be the 28th of July, which is, I believe, a week after school holidays here in New Zealand. And it'll be a deeper conversation, I think, with me. And then the 11th of August is going to be with Melissa, and conversation on the 25th of August with Mariana. And we really just wanted to have these 4 episodes so that you can have bite-sized tips to take away, and come with a notepad and paper and questions and join in on the conversation. So we will be sending that information to you through email, probably. But yeah, we will. Oh, and if you've seen the Facebook event page, definitely keep track of that, and we'll have more information on that. So thank you so much for coming today, and we will see you guys soon. Do you guys have any last minute kind of words that you want to share?
Thank you, everyone, to taking your time and listening to us. Hopefully, we had some good tips for you, and anybody else who's gonna listen and reply in the future. Yeah, see you for the next meetings of chit chat and good tips on natural health care and tips for busy women.
Thank you.
Yeah, and just to say thanks for coming along, and yeah, just try and pick. Probably got a lot of info today, so just pick a couple of things to get started on. Do everything at once, and then just start putting them in place, and then see how things go. But yeah, we'll see you next time.
See you next time. And Laura and Jessica say thank you and thank you and thank you guys. So I'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.